According to the Center for Economic and Policy Research, 6 million people lose or leave their job every month. In 2022, more than 93,000 jobs were cut from public and private tech companies in the U.S. And in 2023, that number rose to 191,000 who were laid off in U.S.-based tech companies. In 2024, 92,466 workers at tech companies have lost their jobs this year alone. No one is immune to losing their job. It can happen at any time to anyone. The consequences and emotional and mental toll, however, can leave a lasting impact. Welcome to this podcast series for supplemental insurers. Today's episode will focus on the emotional toll of job loss. My name is Danae Goldsmith, and I'm the Senior Director of Strategic Partnerships at Workplace Options. And joining me in this discussion today is Karina Hernandez, an EAP counselor at Workplace Options. She holds a master's degree in counseling from West Texas A&M University and a bachelor's from Texas A&M International University. Her areas of focus include working with individuals who have experienced financial stress, job loss, debt, and change of jobs. Thank you, Karina, for joining me in this discussion today.
Thank you for having me, Danae.
So, Karina, I want to ask you, for someone struggling with job loss, can you talk a little bit about common emotional reactions?
So yes, as human, it's really natural, to go through certain feelings or responses to a situation or an event, such as the job loss. Emotional reactions can really range from being expressionless to outwardly showing emotions, like even through shaking or frowning and so forth.
Great. Thank you, Karina. So how do perceptions of work and identity play into the emotional toll job loss can take?
Society perceptions of work are part of one's identity and the center point of their values. So losing a job can be seen as a loss of self-worth, purpose, and even within social standing, leading to feelings of shame, insecurity, diminished, a sense of belonging. For example, sometimes the loss of a job, of a breadwinner status in the household can impact the whole household. In January of 2023, the BLS report came back finding that Asian families and Hispanic families were more likely to have at least one family member employed, 86% and 85% respectively. In 2021, then were white families about 78% and black families 77%. The research varies every year. However, the statistics have shown how every gender to culture does have a different way of responding. Some ways of responding can be such as suicidal ideations. This does tend to happen and it's real. However, that is why we are here, to be able to provide what it is in the moment support or even give any type of recommendations needed. One is not alone when experiencing these thoughts.
Thank you for that. And for our listeners today, I just want to mention the suicide crisis hotline number in the U.S. You can call or text 988. You can also find the details on this podcast page. So next, I want to share a story with you, Karina, about how our counseling team supports individuals who have gone through job loss. In a recent case, a concerned family member reached out to the Employee Assistance Program, or commonly known as the EAP, to discuss her worries about her relative who had been laid off from a job he had held for 15 years. The client was particularly apprehensive given her family member's history of depression, which made the prospect of losing his job even more daunting for her. Uncertain about how to approach the sensitive topic of seeking counseling, she contacted the EAP to speak with a counselor who could guide her on how to introduce the idea of professional support to him. The counselor provided telephonic support, taking the time to understand the dynamics of the client's relationship with her family member and emphasizing the importance of compassion and patience when discussing mental health. As a result of their conversation, the counselor also highlighted the EAP benefits available to the family member, encouraging this client to present various options for accessing these services, such as through email, text message, web, or telephone. The following day brought a positive turn of events when the family member himself called the EAP, expressing his willingness to engage with a counselor to help him develop resilience during this challenging period of unemployment. This helped alleviate some of the client's concerns and also marked an important step for the family member in acknowledging his need for support. The client called the EAP back to express her gratitude, thanking the counselor not only for providing her with the tools to support her family member, but also for facilitating a way for him to seek the help he needed. So, Karina, you've worked with many people in similar circumstances. What are some immediate steps they can take to cope with feelings of grief and overwhelm after finding out they lost their job?
Danae, as I was hearing you, I can only imagine this is a real life situation. And, based on what you just asked, really trying to find balance with the pressure of finding work, taking care of your mental health, it is important to take a step back from all the noise and become your best friend before acting on the next step needed. What really does tend to happen as individuals, we tend to ruminate. It does tend to creep up. And it's really seen as a double-edged sword, which is placing the positive and the negative. So really being able to find balance with it, staying grounded, either, reaching out to a friend or being able to talk to a family member, a therapist, or even a hotline are important steps to take.
Great. Thank you so much. You've provided counseling support to many individuals in your career who have lost their jobs. Can you talk about how counseling can be helpful for someone grieving the loss of a job?
Yes, that is correct. Each of the client stories has been very touching for me, and I have really worked with a wide diversity of individuals. And the similarity within each client ability has been for them to process and understand the reason behind the job loss. Counseling can really be helpful in different areas, and it can be such as learning how to accept the presenting situation within their own time frame, or even reevaluating the sense of purpose and career paths.
Great. Thank you, Karina, for joining me in this discussion today. To learn more about WPO products and services or to share your feedback with us, you can connect with us directly through the Contact Us page on the Workplace Options website. The link can be accessed directly from this podcast page. Thank you so much and have a great day.